Good morning. It is the 6th of July, 2013, 7th by the time you guys hear this. This is Time to Live podcast with Quad and Rev. I am one of your hosts, Rev.
And I'm Quad. Hello.
And this is our podcast. Used to be weekly, but we ended up missing an episode about games, the video game industry, and anything related thereof. And welcome too. I do want to apologize for last week. That was pretty much my fault. I had a sword fighting event that came up on Saturday morning, so I was out of the house by 8 o'clock in the morning. We typically record this at around 9:30, 10 on Saturdays, and it just kind of fell apart there. But we're back, and we're going to do it well.
Yeah, we are. Hopefully.
Of course we are.
So we missed 1 week. That shouldn't really matter too much. But yeah, let's just do our thing.
All right.
Have you been playing anything these last 2 weeks then?
Other than sword fighting, actually, yes, I can say that I have. I've been playing Divinity 2. It's a Dragon Knight Slayer RPG. I think I'm about halfway through the levels. I'm still in the introductory section. But it's actually kind of interesting. It sticks around with the normal, you can be a fighter, a ranged person, or a mage. But I'm having fun running around with my composite longbow and shooting the hell out of stuff.
Alright, so how many hours have you sunk into it?
At last count, since I started playing it over the last 2 weeks, probably about 10 to 11 hours.
Yeah, because I actually sunk 42 hours into the game.
42?
Yep, and that's pretty much just the first game. There's an expansion as well.
Yeah, it's loaded on my disc as well. I have the Ego Draconis and then the secondary one.
Yeah, so yeah, you have a long way to go.
Damn it.
Yep. Anything else?
But other than that, I haven't really had time. I've been really busy at work, and by the time I get home, I have literally walked in the door, changed into my pajamas, laid down, and fallen asleep to whatever movie the kids are watching that night. So.
Cool.
What about you? What have you been playing, Mr. I'm on vacation and do nothing but play games?
I've been playing... I think I played 2 rounds of Dota 2 these last 2 weeks.
Are you going through withdrawals?
Not really.
Okay.
I'll start playing it whenever I have interest again. And from last podcast, I played, 6 hours of Driver San Francisco or something? And I'd finished the game. And now 12 hours, so I've played 6 more hours. Just doing random crap there. I like driving.
But the game, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the game where you can teleport yourself into other people's consciousness, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So I was thinking about it after we recorded the last episode, and how have you found any ways that you can use that to game the system, as it were?
What are you thinking?
Well, not having played the game or seen any videos on it, I'm kind of in the dark in regards to it. But say the cops are after you and they've set up spike strips and blah blah blah. Can you just warp yourself out of that character and into another one that's on the other side of the roadblock, or is that the sort of thing that they obviously intended it to be?
That's what they intended it to be, because pretty much this is what happens if you are in a car and you tick off the cops or anything. They'll stop following you, but you can just warp out of it into another car and they'll stop chasing you because they're chasing the original car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But there are also missions where you have to get away from the cops or stop street races or anything. And when you do that, you can just warp into other vehicles and crash into the racers or the police. So they get, destroyed. Because there is damage in the game.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what else have you been playing?
Some more Europa Universalis 3. I haven't been playing too many games because I've kind of got bored playing them. Oh yeah, the other interesting thing I've been playing is the Ballad of Gay Tony.
The GTA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been fun. I've sunk 9 hours into that. It was kind of buggy though, so I had to, do things slightly different. I couldn't use cabs to take me wherever I wanted because they had a tendency of the loading screen had a tendency of breaking. So I had to forcibly shut down the game.
And played any D&D lately?
A lot, yeah. I have. And I'm probably going to do it after this. And the only 2 other things I played is more Trials. I haven't got that many hours into it, but Cataclysm DDA. I've been playing that. Played that yesterday for quite a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kickstarter they had is actually fully funded now.
Sweet.
So now they're just looking for stretch goals to have the programmer on for longer. And that's pretty much what they're doing. And also the Goblins comic thing, that's also successfully funded with about $170,000. They asked for 30.
Wow.
Yeah, they probably knew they were getting that much. They just set a low goal so they could, because that's what they needed to put out the game. And anything over that, they'll add new features and so on.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So that's gone well. Yeah.
The more I read up about Kickstarter, and the more I hear about stuff like that, the more I'm convinced that that it can become a more solid tool in the repertoire of development in the industry.
Yeah, I agree. I've also been doing some more. I think I cleared up. I kept generating UQs in Greenlight because I was kind of bored. I think I went through 60. And I only said yes to 2 games. And no thanks, not interested to the rest of the 58.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was a game I'd kickstarted. And the other one was a game that looked interesting. So, as you can see, for me, there aren't many interesting games on Greenlight. It's kind of sad.
I haven't even had time to check it out. I feel really, really bad because, we're supposed to be about games and the industry surrounding it and all of that. And instead, I'm like, yeah, I was at work 12 hours the other day and I had a transformer melt and yeah.
Well, I had something more interesting. Happened on Saturday, maybe? No.
Well, last Saturday I had my sword fighting event. Yeah, but
yeah.
The leading up to that was atrocious. Like Thursday at like 3:00 in the afternoon, suddenly all the power got killed to my building, and we kicked over onto generators, and we're trying to track it down, and the electric company's telling us like, oh no, it's fine. They're doing some transformer work about a mile from your location, and that's probably the cause of it. I was like, I really don't think so, because we're the only building affected by this. And I know for a fact that's not how the grid system works. And we ended up calling up our internal electricians, had them come out, and they're like, okay, well, you've got 3-phase power coming in here. You have 1 dead leg. You have 1 leg that's only at half capacity, and you're getting dirty power on the 3rd one. There's something going on here, and it's not them doing transformer work. So, we're calling and we're harassing them, and we're calling and harassing them. Finally, they send somebody out. And he walks over, and now keep in mind, it was like 160 3 degrees at my office that day. So it was already kind of hot, but he starts walking over towards the transformer and like instantly bursts into sweat. And he was like, what the... Goes over and he grabs his thermal imaging gun to gauge temperature, points it at it, and the exterior housing was 240 degrees.
I have no idea what that's in Celsius.
A lot.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's above the boiling point of water.
It 115 in Celsius.
Yeah, so over the boiling point of water.
Yeah. So like the exterior housing was that hot, and he's like, yeah, I think your transformer's melted. And he was like, no shit, yeah, fix it already. So we ended up they ended up replacing it. They said the inside had burned so hot that it had melted the ceramic joint casings that hold the power cables in line, and they had to replace the entire thing. We were on generators and for almost 12 hours. It was ridiculous.
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
And then I went thing about your nose.
Yeah, sword fight. Okay, so typically as a way to help get people to meet new people, there's a tournament that's called the Highlander Tourney, and it's basically when you sign in, you're given a soul, which is like a little scrap of fabric, you know, a little ribbon or something like that, and you have to fight other people single-sworded, and the winner gets all of the accumulated souls of the loser. And you typically do it best 2 out of 3, and you know it's all very. It's more just a matter of, hey, get out there, meet people that you haven't fought before, meet people that you've never seen before, that sort of thing. And I usually always enter one of those, but I don't challenge until the very end because, you know, for me, that's, at least locally, it means that I would have no problems just sweeping the tournament, and I want other people to have that experience. And so like, we get down to the ending, and there's like 5 or 6 of us that still have souls left, and so we start going into a circle. This dude challenges somebody, and he loses, so they get all their souls, and I would challenge him. And this big dude, this big motherfucker named Mac, he's a really nice guy. He's very, very nice, very honorable, and we're going, and he's throwing this beautiful, perfect vertical shot, and he's aiming for that slot right where your collarbone meets at the neck, and it was gorgeous. Unfortunately, he's like 6 inches taller than I am, and I was closing in on him as he started throwing that shot, and it came down and it just broke my nose. Like, I saw stars, kind of blacked out for a second, sat down, started spewing blood everywhere, and he's like, oh, I feel so bad, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. I was moving into it. It's the first time my nose has been broken in like 2 years doing this, but it's like the 23rd, 22nd time that my nose has been broken, period. So, I don't think you...
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Routine. It happens all the time. No, so I do, though, like, it's basically healed. It hurts if I put any pressure on it, and it's changed my breathing, kind of, because it used to be I could regularly breathe out of both nostrils, but this one kind of cracked something off to the side, and so breathing through my left nostril at the moment is really, really difficult. And if I do manage to do it, there's this really weird vibration in my nose.
Good.
My wife is sitting here. That's just gross.
Right.
All right. Moving along.
Good stories. Good stories. Let's see. Yeah, let's just move on. Featured Let's Play. You probably have one. Actually, I know you have one.
Yes, I do. I want to feature my co-moderator of our Let's Play, Lethal Feline. You can find him on YouTube as the Death Cat, and he does everything in live commentary. and really it's his games that he does that really attracted me to him. He's done the entire Splinter Cell saga, and he does it on the hardest difficulty with Iron Man rule set. So it's basically he's not allowed to actually kill anybody unless the game requires it. No alarms, no anything. That's kind of what got me started with him, and then his SWAT 4. But he's got a lovely voice. It's kind of I almost want to say it's a southern drawl. But yeah, check it out. He goes through and definitely has skill in gaming. I will give him that.
Yeah. He's the moderator of, well, the main moderator of Let's Play. Let's see, the Let's Play subreddit, isn't he?
Yeah. He's the one that invited me to moderate it as well.
Yeah. Good. Right. I haven't. I also have one. Legato.
Legato.
Yeah, he's a Finnish dude. He's fairly good. He's very energetic when he does his LPs. Yeah, he sounds like a Swedish person trying to speak English. But he's Finnish, and I know how Finnish people sound when they speak English, and it's just horrible. So he has really good English. His YouTube channel is Retro-ish Dude. Yeah, does some fairly good stuff. He lately he's been doing mostly first-person shooters, I think, if I am not mistaken. I can check this up fairly quickly. Right, he's doing... Actually, he hasn't been doing FPS games. He's doing mostly Braid now. And
yeah.
So yeah.
He's done a lot of lesser known games. At least as far as I'm aware. American McGee's Alice.
Oh, yeah.
Secrets of the Immortals.
I even see Motherload in there, which is an old Flash game. It's really good, actually. I remember playing it quite a lot. So yeah.
Me too, on the graveyards.
Right. So yeah, go check him out. It's actually quite good.
Retro-ish Dude and the Death Cat are featured Let's Players this week.
Yep. Right.
All right.
We have a topic today, didn't we?
I believe you did.
Yes. So the topic I chose today was digital distribution versus retail. So what are you for?
Well, it totally depends. In my particular situation, I would much rather have retail, but there are people out there that I could totally see digital distribution having a much wider benefit. Now, granted, digital distribution serves that instant me, gotta have it now mentality. So I would be much more inclined, if I'm sitting at home and I want to play a game or watch a movie, I am much more inclined to just buy it online and go that route, as opposed to having to get up and drive into the store and hope they have a copy and then deal with all the people. Yeah, no. I do think it's coming as a way to replace things. The problem that I have with digital distribution is that it's becoming so jam-packed with various DRM, and I'm still paying the exact same price as I would if I bought a physical hard copy. It has problems in its current model, is my stance.
Okay. Well, I'm actually mostly... I buy my stuff online. I do the electronic distribution way because it's actually cheaper for me. So
wait, how is it cheap? Oh, because you got to pay tariffs and all of that stuff for no.
yes,
Aha.
and that's just awful. So I pretty much just it's not all that much cheaper. It's like maybe $10 usually.
Hey, $10
cheaper.
is $10.
Yeah, so it can crop up if you buy everything on retail. Now, granted, I could just purchase it from the UK or find a place in Norway that has them cheaper, but I usually want my games when I see them.
Yeah.
And it goes a lot faster for me to just download the game in like half an hour or an hour and just play it then and wait like 2 or 3 days and maybe even up to 5 days because of the post office and well the post in Norway is kind of slow. So
Something my country finally does better than you.
yes, but it's mostly up down south. It's really good. In between the places because most of the stuff that you order comes from down south, and I live up north, which means
Gotcha.
well, there are what are they called? I can't remember what they are called. Like provinces or what do you probably
we would call them a state.
Yeah, usually a state, but I can actually find the word. Well, it's not really a county either. Because they're quite big. So yeah, sort of let's say it's split up into, I can't remember if it's 19, states or whatever it's called. And the one I live in is as big as Denmark. And Denmark has how many people? Let's see. Denmark has 5.6 million people, right?
Yeah.
And Norway has 5 million. And where I live, and the entire state, whatever it's called, has 50,000.
Yeah, that's my city. That's my town that I live in.
Yeah, so you can see why the postage up here could be a bit, not good. Compared to down south.
I could see the reasoning behind it, but I don't I can fathom it. I really can. I just can't wrap my head around that because I'm so used to the US postal system. Literally, I can mail a letter today and have it, well, not today because they don't do Sunday post, but I could mail a letter Monday morning and have it arrive on the other side of the country Tuesday morning.
Yeah, that can also happen here, but it's mostly packages that are slow. Letters usually go quite quickly.
Okay, but sorry, my topical rant about the stuff is another day, not on topic.
Okay, yeah.
But so for you, digital distribution services your instant gratification need,
Yes.
rather than the delayed anticipation of the game is coming, it's tracking it online as it's being shipped closer and closer to you. You'd much rather just have it right then and there.
Yes.
Okay, I totally agree with that. I really do because I'm much the same way. If I could have the ability to just I want this game, bam, I'm playing this game, as opposed to having to either go out and find it or ship a copy to me.
I would be okay with that. The biggest problem here is that there's no real gaming store. There aren't really any places that sell games.
You don't have any big box stores or anything?
No.
Like a Walmart or an electronics shop or anything?
Well, we do have that, but they just don't sell games.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why, because it will probably be very profitable for them.
What about your local gaming stores? Don't you guys have game comic stores, stuff like that?
No.
Holy cow! Okay, I'm
no
moving.
specialized gaming stores.
I'm gonna move to Norway and start up a comic book shop / game shop, and I'm apparently gonna strike it rich.
Yeah, you'd probably have to. Well, there are some places but I'd have to drive for like 2.5 hours to get to the closest place where there's, a place that's more specialized towards gaming stuff and so
Oh,
on.
okay.
But they don't sell comics and such. If I'd want to do that, I'd have to drive for 7 hours. So no,
All
I'm
right,
not
so
doing
it's not
that.
so it's not too feasible. You're pretty much out. You're pretty much out in the boondocks in terms of retail options.
Yes,
Okay. Well,
that
see,
is
in that
wrong.
in that case, I can get behind that. I can totally empathize. For me, I think the biggest drawback to me about digital distribution is the way that it all gets tied together. The way that it and the DRM is all tied together with the distribution platform. Like a hard copy, okay, I've got an Xbox game sitting on my shelf. As long as I have something that can play that Xbox game, whether it be an emulator, whether it be my original Xbox, whatever, I can always play that game. But with digitally distributed games, unless you have the entire game there on your hard drive of whatever device you're on, the second the servers go down, you're done. You can no longer play it, period. And fortunately, we haven't encountered this yet, but Steam is a good example, I would think.
Yeah, but I don't think that Steam will, just crash and burn.
Well, we don't think so, but we also didn't think that the financial economy and the housing market and the banks, things can happen, and
Of course.
well, true, I would hope not, because I do think that Steam brings a very valuable resource to the gaming world. There could come a time when Gabe decides, you know what, fuck it, I'm done with this. I'm gonna move on to something else. I'm gonna sell lemonade or frozen bananas on a stick instead, and decides to close up shop. What happens to all of those games that everybody has on Steam? Well, they've kind of taken that into consideration, and Gabe has said, look, if we ever reach that point, we will release a patch that will unlock the DRM aspects on it, so it'll never have to check in with Steam again. The problem with that is, what if they don't?
Well, then everyone at Valve would be lynched.
Well, we're assuming at this point Valve is out of business.
Yes, but
Like this
everyone
is
that's ever worked at Steam would be lynched.
I can
Yes,
just hear the news headlines now. Entire former game development company hung from trees because they did not turn off DRM.
yes, exactly.
But see, can you see why I'm not disturbed, but can you see why digital distribution has me a little bit leery?
Yes,
Okay.
I
That's
can
all I
see
was
that.
going for.
I can see that, but yeah, I, but that digital distribution is getting bigger every day,
Oh yeah.
and it will probably continue to grow for quite some time. Uh, there could come a time when retail goes up again, but there have to be another big thing that comes around that gives you instant. If you had I don't know, something locally that you could just download the game and place it on like a USB stick.
Ooh.
See, you could do that, and you'd have the game at all times. Now, in theory, you could just do that with all the games you have. You could buy USB sticks for every single game and just store them somewhere in case, Steam goes to shit. You have all the
Right.
games at the ready. where the DRM is unlocked and you can just plug it in and start it up at Steam. You just point it into the right direction and just play it.
I could see that.
But that's if you're, a paranoid guy, pretty much.
So
But
me.
That could be a way to get, retail through electronic distribution.
Yeah, I could see that. I honestly,
But it
Go
had
ahead.
to be more fleshed out than that, because it would be really easy to, just share it with someone else, which is actually something that retail should do. That's why people buy retail usually.
Well, for me, I buy retail because I like having the product itself. There's something fun and exciting about opening up that case and that's a topic for later. Video game manuals and why they need to come back. Take note of that.
Okay, I'll do that.
But no, I like having the physical copy. I like looking at my bookshelf, and on the left-hand side of my television, I have all of my books. I've got everything ranging from the Star Wars novels to George R.R. Martin and a couple of self-help books that I absolutely despise, and John Grisham and the dictionary and an encyclopedia, and I have the physical copies there, and nothing can ever take that away other than like a house fire. And then on the other side, on the bookshelf on the other side of my television, I have all of the hard copies of the movies that are amazing, that like changed my life, and the video games that I play, and being able to look at those and touch and feel them. There's an aspect to our tactile senses that I think I would miss if everything went digital distribution.
Well, the thing is, you can't really pass down the books and so on, because they'll most likely, crumble after a while.
Yeah, after like 60 years.
Yeah, so you can't really pass them down. And how
why
long
couldn't
do
you?
CDs last?
Generally CDs are something in the realm of like 18 years at max.
Yeah. And usually electronic distribution will secure you from that, but then again, most of the games you'll have then are, outdated.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, it's for me. I don't know. I love the technological direction that everything is going. Don't get me wrong. I really do. I love technology, and I love seeing new and faster and better ways that we can do things, and how we can automate certain things. I love that aspect, but I think that we as a society, as a species, are really losing something in this quest for technological advances. Now, I'm not saying we should all become Amish and go live on farms and no electricity and no motorized anything, but I'm saying we should make sure that there are still the options available, because at this point we have an entire generation of people right now who have absolutely no personal skills whatsoever. Like, they can't carry a conversation with somebody from another country, or unless it's over the medium of the internet, via text. There's an entire generation of people that can't do it. They fail at job interviews for stupid things, like you don't tell your job interviewer that you're going to fuck their mother or whatever. They just haven't learned that. And I think that the more that we push things towards online and digital everything and all of that, while absolutely cool and amazing and astounding and very science fiction-y, we're losing the human touch. And to me, that would just be a shame.
And do you know why that happens? People go around saying that they'll fuck your mother.
Because the parents haven't beaten the shit out of them?
Yes, because they have bad parents. I didn't have bad parents, and I turned out just fine.
I had absolutely horrible, atrocious parents, but they were too far in the opposite direction, so I think I turned out okay. But I mean...
Now, the reason why I had good parents is mostly because, well, probably my father had bad parents. And
Well,
that's usually a good catalyst for becoming a good parent. Usually.
usually, but at the same time, I think that passes the buck. I mean, ultimately, you are responsible for your decisions, and I've sworn up and down for years upon years that I would never be a father because I don't think that I would make a good one. I'm very quick to irritability. And despite being a pacifist, my natural reaction, and granted, this is an enforced pacifism. This isn't like, oh, I don't believe in violence. It's, I don't believe that violence solves problems. But my first reaction in most situations of confrontation is to lash out physically. I keep that very much in check. I mean, you could ask my spouses, so, how often has Rev brutalized somebody for, well, if it's not on the sword fighting field, never.
Yeah.
My husband's listening and goes often, but not not off the field.
Yeah.
But so like I honestly don't think that I would make a good parent. However, everybody else, including my spouses, think I would make a fantastic parent, and even my kids, because I'm fair, but I'm stern, and when they fuck up, they get punished, and when they do good, they get rewarded. It's a very simple system, and I've never struck one of our kids. So there's personal responsibility that plays a huge role in that. But so I guess what I'm saying is I see what you're saying, but at the same time, there is personal responsibility involved.
Yeah. I'm also a pacifist, as you could say. I don't believe that physical violence solves anything. Now, granted, it does with young children. When you are young, beat up someone and they won't bother you again.
True.
Yes, so when you're young, sure, physical violence solves something. But as soon as you grow up, you need to learn that physical violence will solve nothing. It'll just make the other person hate you more.
Or kill you. But yeah.
Yes. And, well, and I live a perfectly good life.
Well, I see, and I think coming back around to our topic, I think in large part it's not even necessarily, I can't say it's entirely the fact that it's bad parenting, although that can play a role in it. But there's also the Penny Arcade kind of made this famous, but the greater internet fuckwad theory, which is if you give people the ability to be anonymous and give them the ability to express whatever opinion they want, then you get, shitcock. And that's how it kind of ends up being, because we have people whose only interactions outside of, their parents or their school is over Xbox Live or over League of Legends, and they don't get that interpersonal communication. So why not be a dick? This guy that I'm playing with, he's from Norway. Is he ever going to show up and punish me for being a douchebag? No.
Well, that could happen.
Well, yeah, it could. And there's actually been news reports of people doing stuff like that. Somebody mouthed off to the wrong person in World of Warcraft, and they showed up and cut his dog's head off with a chainsaw. Like, they literally traveled across the United States and murdered his dog with a chainsaw because he was being a little shithead. So, but the stories of that happening are infinitesimally rare, because I mean, you think about how many billions of people there are in the world, and then how many millions, hundreds of millions of them are online, and how many millions of interactions there are every second. Even if there was 100 incidents like that every day, that's still just this teeny tiny speck of the human interaction. And now I realize, listening to what I'm saying, I sound like I've been tripping on acid lately, and I want you to know I haven't been.
Good. So yeah, pretty much this is how I grew up. I was a very social kid, right? So
Fair.
I had a lot of friends. I hung out with them. Just generally when I was young, I played with cars and Legos and all that, and I played, with PlayStation, Sega, and all those gaming consoles as well. And when I grew up, I was still doing that. I wasn't really playing with Legos, but I was hanging out with my friends and doing all sorts of stuff that, kids do, teenagers do, go around
Riding
people.
bicycles and throwing eggs at people's houses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that. And on the internet, I was a completely different person. I was a proper douche.
A proper douche. I like that.
Yeah, and I pretty much I separated the internet from real life. And that's actually worked quite well. I know how to be a douche when I need to be, but I don't do it regularly.
See, and I'm very envious of your ability to separate two different lives, as it were. For me, I can't do that. The me that you encounter online, the me that people encounter if we're having a discussion about the benefits of sausage making, whatever. That to me that is me. I'm the same person online as I am in person. I might be a little bit more willing to share, deeper, darker aspects of my life online than I am in person. But that's because in general, in person, I don't want to ruin somebody else's day by like, oh yeah, remember that time my mom pistol whipped me and then shot at me because I wanted to do. Yeah, that's depressing in person. But if it's online and you have that separation, that gives other people the option to be like, oh well, hey, I can share my experience with this and blah 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 blah. And for me, it's like I said, it is all the same. I am the same person on the sword fighting field when I am in character as Reverend. I am the same person at work. I'm the same person when I'm moderating. I'm the same person when I'm playing video games, and I really can't separate those. I've tried. This is the work, Brian, and no, that I am. Everybody at work calls me Rev. That's just who I am.
Yeah. And if I really wanted to, I could be a different person with every single person I meet. But
yeah.
I'd have problems, remembering how I'm supposed to act with everyone.
Oh yeah, I'm a dickbag to him, and I really like him, and yeah. See, yeah. I couldn't do that.
I could do that, but I tried to be a kind of stable person.
I like how your emphasis on that was, I try to be a stable person.
Yeah. And, try to be the same with everyone. But, of course, that could change a bit where at work I was kind of, a bit more of a douche than I am regularly. Because, well, it was more fun that way. And, yeah, so... Yeah, be a different person if you can. It's more fun that way.
I just can't. I can't. It would drive me crazy.
Right.
Okay, so going back.
Yeah.
I love our tangents. We're like, yeah, we're gonna rant. Blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, we were talking about something.
Yeah. So you can see what different backgrounds do to different people.
Yeah, exactly. So going back to digital distribution, I don't know. I really don't want to harp on the Xbox One, but they were a very good example of how not to do it. I mean, let's be honest. There is nothing that they were implementing that hasn't already been implemented on some DRM scheme for PCs for years upon years upon years. There literally was nothing that they were introducing that was new to the game, as it were. That hasn't been done in the past. The problem was how they marketed it to the people involved. Because gamers tend to be, and you'll have to forgive the overgeneralization, but this is based on my observation and a lot of observable interactions. Gamers tend to be kind of cynical assholes, and
Yep.
cynicism is, in this particular case, means that if you take a piece of shit and you polish it and you hold it up and you tell everybody exactly how awesome this polished piece of shit is, we're going to look at you and go, no, dude, you're holding a dog turd. What the hell is wrong with you? And so we as a culture tend to not buy into the, hey, we're doing this for you and it's a good thing because we're like, no, you're doing this because you're an asshole. And yeah, the turnaround that Microsoft made, and I have to admit shame here. I used they're going to call it the Xbox 180 when they announced it, when they reversed their plans. That was how they should have marketed it from the beginning. Look, we have the physical option, we have the digital option. It is totally up to you. And bam, they could have done that, and people would have had no problem with it. I wouldn't have had a problem with it because it gave the control of it to me. I can be online and digital, or I can be offline and retail. That to me was where they went wrong.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah. I still won't be buying the Xbox One.
I won't either.
Right. Let's move on from this topic.
All right.
We'll probably rant some more about this whenever, we have the opportunity to.
Of course.
Let's just jump over to the news.
Okay.
I'll begin with some of the topics some of the news I've come up with. Okay. So the friend I usually play real-time strategy, turn-based strategy games with, like space games and all that, he's on vacation now. He's going around Europe on a Euro trip thing where he has a universal train ticket. He can go wherever he wants within the EU.
That is so cool.
Yes, it is. And no, I'm not going to go on about that. But he's currently in France, I think. I think he's going to Italy next, or possibly Spain. And yeah, so he's pretty much just traveling wherever he wants. So a new game came out. Well, a DLC for a game that we've been playing a lot, which is Endless Space, came out. And now I can't play it because he's doing his thing. And it's annoying the hell out of me. Also, the new Civilization 5 DLC is also coming out, so I can't play that either. So yeah, Endless Space, Disharmony, it's come out, and I want to play it, but I can't.
Wait. Yeah. You can't play it because he's on vacation, or you're out of respect for waiting for him.
I'm not bothered playing it.
Oh, okay.
I like playing turn-based strategy games as such, with people. Because it gets kind of tedious just sitting there alone playing it. So yeah, Endless Space Disharmony came out. It's Endless Space, really good game. Really good. I don't remember if it's turn-based or real-time right now. But I think it's turn-based. Don't quote me on it though. So yeah, everyone should really try out Endless Space. It brings a lot of interesting mechanics.
And if you can't or don't want to for some reason, you can check out Get Dave's LP of it.
Yes, probably, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. News that I have. It's a bit. It's kind of depressing, at least if you're one of those types. But Douglas Engelbart died July 3rd, just a couple of days ago. He was 88 years old. Passed away.
Let me see.
You don't know who Douglas Engelbart is, do you?
Was this the guy that invented the Mouse.
The mouse. Yep.
Yes, okay, yeah.
He invented the computer mouse. He invented the term bootstrapping. He used to work on ARPANET, and he worked with a network, the NLS, the Online Systems, which was kind of the precursor to the net. For hypertext and remote screen viewing and all of that stuff. So, yeah, he really helped add a lot to the computer industry world. 88 years old, passed away, and yeah, I at least want to express my condolences to his family and thank him for the work that he did.
Yes, he is a true pioneer of the internet.
And how? Okay,
Yeah.
You have another one?
Yes. Have you heard of Right to Hell Retribution?
Yes.
And you've heard about how shit it is.
No.
It's really shit. Don't play it ever.
Okay.
Because that's what I've heard. I haven't played it. I just know it's shit. It's got bad gameplay. It's pretty much on rails, and well, it's generally shit.
Well, wait a second. You haven't played it, so how do you know?
I watched a stream and I watched a couple of videos where they keep saying that it's shit. And people are generally agreeing on this. Right, so they had trailers and all that out, and they didn't really show any gameplay whatsoever in any of their trailers, which is usually an indication of how shit the game is. Correct.
I don't know on that, because at the same time, like, did you see the trailers for StarCraft? There was no gameplay in StarCraft's trailers, but, you know, StarCraft was kind of like the biggest damn game that ever existed.
Well, there's pretty much this thing about StarCraft. That's that Blizzard made the game. And they lost... Well, let me just say this. StarCraft 2, we knew it was going to be good. Because it's really hard to fuck up a real-time strategy game when you've done one before. But here's the thing. They've given out Diablo 3, which was a good game for a bit. Then everyone noticed how boring it actually is.
See, and that's like, I don't know. Now we're getting back into the psychology on it, and you know.
Well, I know. Right to Hell Retribution is shit. Don't buy it.
Well, I don't know that, so I'm not going to say don't buy it. I'm going to say find somebody whose opinions you trust, and if Quad says it, chances are I'm willing to lean in that direction, but if he hasn't played it, then I'm not 100%. But I won't be buying it as of now. Then again,
it's really unfinished as well, so yeah.
Now
you could just check a video on it, and you'd be pretty much set on not buying it.
Fair enough. See, that's another part that really burns me is game companies that put out a game that is unpolished, unfinished. You know, it's like, oh well, there's our release date. Guess what? We're shipping it as is, and then like people shell out money for a broken pile of shit. Oh, we'll fix that in the future, and sometimes they do. Often they don't. Another topic for another day.
Right, I have another thing that kind of brushes our topic. So, former Ubisoft creative director said, "The future is digital and there's nothing you can do about it."
There totally is. You can burn down the internet.
So, pretty much this is how the article starts. "The war between physical and digital media has been an excruciatingly slow one. Services like Steam and GOG have made discs relatively obsolete for PCs, but the rest of the industry has been less than willing to budge." Well, no, they haven't been that much unwilling to budge, have they?
No.
Most people give out both retail and digital. Some have gone over to, just digital. Well, not the big companies, because they can actually do retail. But, indie games and all that, they keep giving out, well, they just do it digitally because they don't have the money or, the backing to actually give out games on retail. When they
And there's
do, they
also
probably will. But
yeah. Well, there's also the fact that in order to give it out via retail, you have to be rated by the ESRB, and it's not like you have to be because the ESRB is at least stateside is completely voluntary. The problem is there are literally no retail outlets, no stores like GameStop or anything that will carry a game that has not been rated by the ESRB. And if Walmart and GameStop both say, well, you're not rated, so we're not carrying your game, guess what? You're fucked.
Okay.
So digital distribution bypasses that requirement. The problem is you have a much smaller audience available. So...
Yeah. I was looking through the weird top 15 weird PC games of all time, and I can't really say I've played any of them. So I'm not going to talk about it.
Well, I've got one. We both have participated in Twitch streams, and we both have friends that are fairly prolific streamers using Twitch TV, and they just announced day before yesterday on America's Independence Day that they have reached a deal not only with Origin and Xbox, so Microsoft, but also with Steam. So if you're a Twitch user, you can link your Twitch account to your Steam account and directly stream through that.
But Origin's had that for a while now, actually.
Yeah. But they finally got on board with Steam, and that, let's admit it, Origins being the fact that it's EA and everybody hates EA, and Origin is 10 years behind Steam. This actually means a bit more, in my opinion, than Origin.
Yeah, but that also means that we'll see more shitty streams.
This is true.
Because, well, I'd still probably run with XSplit or OBS because, well, they're really good programs, actually. And they stream just fine. But, yeah, because some games on Steam it can be hard to run on run with XSplit, but then again, you could use OBS, and if OBS doesn't work, well, then you pretty much fucked. And then you could use the Steam one. I had that with PlanetSide where I couldn't stream it with XSplit, so I had to use OBS, and that worked just fine.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're kind of pushing the hour mark and stretching for things to talk about. So let's go ahead and unless you have something else.
No, I want to say that. I just say quickly about this. Dishonored is becoming a franchise.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Dishonored success makes it a franchise. Pretty much.
I thought being a franchise made it a franchise.
Well, Dishonored wasn't a franchise.
Right.
As in, it's probably gonna have more games. Why would they do that? I don't know. Probably because it was so successful. They'll try and milk out the title.
God damn it! Guys, you make one game and it's good, and you finish everything. It doesn't need to. Unless you plan from the beginning to make it into a series, don't make it into a series.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's at least what I got from the article, but we'll see if that's actually what will happen. Interesting game that came out that I won't play because, well, it doesn't interest me in the slightest anymore. It interested me back when I saw it first. And that's Cube World. Heard of it?
I have seen several people in the IRC channel talking about it this morning.
Yeah, it's a voxel box. It's a voxel RPG game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Procedurally generated, auto-leveling enemies that level with you do, and basically, my understanding, without having no idea what it looks like, it's basically think Skyrim or the Elder Scrolls games.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Procedurally generated.
Think Minecraft.
Okay, so think Skyrim and Minecraft. Either way.
Yes, probably. That would probably work better.
I hate auto-leveling enemies in an RPG. They absolutely piss me off. If I go into a newbie section as a level 600 badass, I don't want to have to fight for my life because now I'm fighting a level 585 giant dire rat skeleton.
Well, the
No,
thing
I want
is,
to punch the damn rat.
I think the game is sort of where the further out from the spawn point you go, the harder the enemies become. But then again, I don't really know how the leveling system works, but all I know is if you're level 1 and start traveling in a straight line towards somewhere, you'll meet enemies that are too hard for you to kill.
You know, and I'm okay with that, as long as it's based on some kind of region idea or through the storyline. I mean, think back to Final Fantasy X. You know, what was the purpose of grinding out all of these, or any Final Fantasy level? You know, you're grinding out in this opening area, and you put in the time and effort. Now suddenly you're a level 15 badass in a level 2 world, and you go into that first dungeon and you're one-shotting the bad guys. Then you get to the boss and you have to 3-shot him, and you're like, yeah, you know, there was a reward for putting in the time, effort, and energy of an absolutely horrible aspect of the game, but you had the reward for that. And then you didn't have to worry about, you know, making sure that you were level appropriate for the rest of the game, because you would earn XP and continuously grow throughout it. And if you go back to that opening area, now you're still that level badass, and you're one-shotting the metallic slimes or whatever. Without any problems. The system that they use mechanically for the Elder Scrolls games and a lot of Western RPGs, where enemies level along with you, I don't like it. I like having that feeling of, I've spent 78 hours in this RPG and I am near the end of this game. I'm going to go back and I'm going to punch mice for an eighth of an experience point, and I'm going to do 6 million damage to each mouse. You know, I like that feeling.
Yeah, it's actually quite satisfying. That's one thing that, for example, let's say World of Warcraft did right.
Yeah, exactly.
And MMOs generally.
But a lot of the Western RPGs, and I'm pointing my finger at Bethesda here, do it in a manner that the characters level, the enemies level with you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I don't play a lot of the Western RPGs. When I play RPGs, they tend to be the Japanese type. But okay,
Okay, so let's just move on to the last thing before we go towards the end. What will you play this week?
Well, if I have time, I'm going to try and hammer out more of Destiny 2. That's pretty much the only thing on my plate, and some Trials Evolution. I do have an idea for one of the maps. I'd like to build it and see what I can do with it. But that's a very big if. Most likely I'm going to play Destiny 2 today, and then that'll be it. Or Divinity 2, sorry.
Yeah, I was wondering, what the hell is he talking about Destiny 2? Have I been mentioning the wrong game the whole time?
No, you're totally right. It's just I have been kind of following up on Destiny because it's Bungie, and Bungie's my favorite developer. So that's stuck in my head, and it's a D word, and I'm exhausted. So
okay, good.
What are you gonna be playing?
I'll be playing some Cataclysm DDA, maybe start up Europa Universalis again. I don't know. I'll figure out when I go along. You'll never have a really set anymore. I just pick up a game that I find interesting and play it.
All right.
Yep. So yeah.
Okay.
We've come towards the end now.
Oh, you are the end, my only friend. Oh, wait, no, sorry, never mind.
Yeah. So we've come towards the end. All I want to say before we go out is, well, thanks for watching. See you next time.
See you next week, guys. This has been TTL. Bye.
Bye.